Hey guys, welcome to class. It's Tuesday morning for you when you're watching this. It's Tuesday morning for me too, however, I'll be asleep. So this is the Utah Salt Flats. It's not snow, this is salt. It's a little wet right now because it did rain and snow recently here, but this is one of the flattest places in the United States, and I thought it would be a cool place to shoot a video. So what's in this video? So first, we're going to do a note on grades. There is a small tutorial I want you to watch. It's only about 2 minutes long. And then I have some questions folks asked in our little discussion group. We're going to go over those. And then we're going to discuss what's going to be happening in the next few days. So first, the note on grades. So remember, the problem we have is the pass-fail situation. And I told you I'd get back to you about how the pass-fail situation works. And unfortunately, we can't do it, but we could do something similar. So basically, now that I have graded all the essays, you can take a look at it and say, if I've done the first 4 essays, and I've passed all the first 4 essays, and I at least have a B on my homework, you know, on the participation portion, then you probably will pass the class with just a 74.01. I mean, that's it. So if you just want to say, okay, I'm done, I don't want to do any more homework, I don't want to do the final, but you've got, you know, that 80% or better on the homework, and you've passed all the essays, you'll get that 74%. That's up to you. Now, if you want something better than that, let's say that you forgot to do one of the essays or you failed it, and you're saying, but I still want to get a passing grade, but you don't want to do any more of the homework, just turn in the final paper, make sure it is a real paper and fits the prompt, and then you'll get at least a 74, maybe up to, you know, a 79%. Now, if you want to do better than that, turn in all the essays. Do well in all the essays, keep doing all the homework, and your grade is going to improve magnificently. Now, most of the class is right now, I'd say half of all the students that I'm teaching, a little better than half, are in the A- and A range right now. So that's really good. Keep it up. Lots of opportunities. Next, there is extra credit that's available, and the extra credit is available by doing the peer reviewing. So if you want to do peer reviews, I'll give you guys, you know, 15% on your next, you know, up to 15 points on the final paper if you do peer review. So last time there were a few people who did peer review, works really good. So if 3 people want to get together and do peer review, you could do that. 2 people get together, want to do peer review, we can do that. All you have to do is contact me and we'll make the arrangements. Next, there are these extra credit papers that you could do. There are 4 of them. They're based on comics and a few other things. All you have to do is say, hey, Aaron, I want to do these. Now, there are a few people who've already done them, and it's helped out their grades immensely. So that same stuff is available to you. Okay, and here's that little tutorial. You'll be able to watch it for the next couple of minutes.
When I got home yesterday from the Salt Flats, I got my allergies just kind of kicked my butt. And I just couldn't get this finished. I know, terrible excuse, but I apologize. So the point of what I'm going to show you here is really quickly, what do you do next? Okay, so if you look right here, I have one outlined paragraph. Okay, and most of the guys of what you're doing looks just like this. Okay. You've got the key items, you know, so I didn't do this stuff up here, but you have paragraph 3 keywords and then goal. And if you look at my keywords, I have diversity, white majority institutions, and variations of valueless. Oh, that's not very valueless of the word. I should put this down. The word valueless. Okay. So, and then I also have my goal that's expressed, which is take the reader into the thesis by showing current understandings of diversity are pointless. So, and then I've got my claim, which I'm not going to be using in my paper. When I have claims and things in outlines that I don't plan on using, I like to use, you know, practice funny words. And so I have the word here, gasconade. So gasconades. So the claim is gasconades from white majority institutions are valueless, see, typo, terrible, doesn't matter, are valueless and may be dangerous. So that's the claim. But I'm not going to include that in my, in my thing. And then, of course, I have my context. Here's my context sentence. Then here's the quote I'm using. I want you guys to know something right here. I want to point out really quick. Some of you guys are doing this. Now, if you've introduced Holmes already in your paper, so this is the third paragraph of the review of literature, I should have introduced Holmes and the article Variety Show way earlier, possibly in the introduction paragraph or in the first paragraph of the review of literature. I mean, that's honestly where I would have done it first. So if you've already introduced Holmes and her article name, you don't need to put anything in the parentheses other than the page number. Oh, and I wanted to show something too. Let me show you this. So some of you guys are using internet articles, and then in the parentheses here in your internet articles, you're doing this. You're going Holmes, and then, oops, let's put the S there, and then Variety Show. Okay. And then, just like that. Well, that's incorrect too. Okay? The reason is you've already introduced, if it's an internet article, you've already introduced the author Holmes and the internet article Variety Show. There are no page numbers in internet articles, right? So because there are no page numbers in internet articles, your quote should honestly look like this, with no in-text citation, because guess what? Right here, see Holmes? Come on, select, silly thing. Anyway, there's Holmes. I've already mentioned it. And I would have already, introduced the article, so it's unnecessary. So don't put in Holmes, comma, and then the article name if you're doing an internet thing. Anyway, let me go ahead and fix that back to 219. All right, and then the period following. So, did you catch that? So, see right here the quotation mark, and then space, and then the numbers, and then the period. That's how it goes. And then is the analysis, and then over here the interpretation. So, and then right here is the next thing, the mapping paragraph. All right. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to show you what you do next. Okay. So you have all this information. This is what I always do first. I hit enter, and then I clear out that. Okay. And then I start to work on this paragraph. And the first thing I'm going to do with this paragraph, so I'm just going to select the whole thing, not mapping. And then after I have that selected, then I come over here and I unselect this. Okay. Then I take this all the way to the end, right there. And then that will show what I have. And then I'm going to show you the next step. So I get rid of where it says context. And I get rid of where it says quote. Then I come down to here where it says interpretation, and I get rid of the analysis before. By the way, I want to point something out in my interpretation. Okay, in my interpretation I have two sentences, because in this case I needed to. Normally I only have one, but in this case I needed two. Okay, so there we go. So and the first sentence is the chasm between 50-50 understanding of appropriate racial distribution and a far lower understanding of appropriate racial distribution illustrates how the term diversity is interpreted differently. By different racial groups. Okay, so I just wanted to be clear there. So we have all this, and you'll notice that we don't have the topic sentence, and we don't have the, we don't have the topic sentence, and we don't have a transition sentence. But before I can write those, I've already written them, and we'll just copy and paste them in, just to be short. I have to do something right here. This is absolutely insufficient. Okay? So, when I wrote the, what you would write here is, Holmes writes that, and because I have the word that, I don't need the comma. Sometimes you don't use the word that gets overused a lot, but, in this case, we're fine. And then once I have this in here, let's go ahead and collapse this into a paragraph. just like that. So let's, okay. And then, see right there, we have the paragraph. We have everything we need just in here, okay? Then I need to put my context, my topic sentence, and then my transition sentence. So here is the transition, the topic sentence I wrote right there. I just inserted it. And then over here, I come in and I insert the transition sentence. Okay? That's it. It's actually really easy. Once you have your outline from outline form to here, it's really, really simple. Here, I'm going to show you real quick. So I'm just going to go backwards, and we're just going to make some changes. See, there's the outline, right? Well, with the outline, let's one second, do a little bit more. There we go. And one more. And that. Okay, so there's the outline form. And then if we want to fix everything, it's really simple. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go like that. Oops, it's not going to do it. So, like I said, space, get that down. Let's select everything. And we'll get rid of this. And then after that, we're going to go to here. And then we're going to just get rid of where it says interpretation. Just go right over here, space. Go to where it says Holmes. By the way, where it's got that verb evidences, it's correct. So that's sometimes where it's trying to autocorrect you, sometimes it's wrong. So I'm correct. And then right here, Holmes writes that always introduce your quote. Always, always, always. And then we go right here, space. Then we have to get rid of where it says context. And then we insert, our topic sentence that I already wrote. You're going to write yours right here, though. Oops. And then I come over here. All right, and that's it. Honestly, in your outline, you've done the majority of the work. All you now need to do is make sure that each paragraph that you've written with your quotes and your analysis and your context and interpretation, you now have to go through and make sure that they all flow. The other thing, too, is to start looking at your keywords to make sure your primary keyword is in every single sentence. So right here, I mentioned one primary is diversity. So here's diversity. It's there. And then right here, diversity. It's right there. And even, let's see if it goes through, blah, blah, blah. There's another diversity right there. And now diversity isn't going to come in the quote. That's fine. And then we come right here, blah, blah, regarding. Oh, there's diversity right there in that sentence. And then there's diversity in quotes there. Diversity in quotes here, diversity in quotes here, diversity in quotes here. So as you can see, I've actually used the word diversity in every single sentence. This is my primary keyword. It will appear most likely in every single sentence, or at least every other sentence, most likely every single sentence in this entire 6.5 to 7 page paper, because I'm writing about diversity. It freaking needs to appear. Then the next keyword is white majority institutions. That one is a secondary keyword. That doesn't appear in every sentence, but you see the word institution? Well, guess what? There's organization right there. There's institution. Then right there, let's see, white, where majority white institutions, it's reshaped. And next, white institutions. And then we come down institutional, white-centered. And then we continue going through. It's not in that one, but that's okay. We got diversity in there. And then white majority institution, exactly how I had it. And right there, white majority institutions. Can you see what I'm saying? That's how your keywords play in. And then I have the word valueless. So I have cheap. And then other words just like it to indicate that it's unimportant. And then I also have the word bragging, bragging, braggadocio. That's what gasconade means. It means to brag. And so we have all of these terms in here. This is how you integrate your keywords into your paragraph. Now, in this paper, the two major ones would be diversity and white majority institutions. Okay? Valueless, that's in this paragraph. Okay? There would be a different one in the other ones. And so I'm going to, and the word white majority institutions, that's a secondary keyword that might not appear as often as diversity. But diversity, I'm going to try to put that in every single sentence, or variations on the word diversity in every single sentence. But don't get too broad. I want to go, and that's it. That's basically how you do this. It's really easy. Make sure your keywords are integrated, but your paragraph should go really smooth. And so this, by the way, like I said, your first keyword appears in all of your paragraphs from then on. It should appear in every sentence from then on, not necessarily in the quotes themselves, but try to find quotes that reflect that or reflect other keywords like bragging or interpreted bias or a small amount meaning valueless. Do you see how it works? That's how it works. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Now we have some questions. Now these come from that discussion group we just did yesterday that you guys had about the class. And so, by the way, the kids running around my grandchildren. The person holding my cell phone is my son. He's a really nice guy. Anyway, so how many quotes? Some people, here's the questions that come up first. These are the most popular ones. How many quotes go in each support paragraph? I pretty much only want one quote per support paragraph. If you want to do two, make sure it's a proper double paragraph. But no more than that. You don't need lots of quotes in your support paragraphs. The next one is how many sources? You need to have 3 sources and homes. So that's 4 things you have to have for your research. Next, where do you use the sources? Well, homes obviously is the only thing that goes in the review of literature. But you also will want something from homes in your counter argument. The other stuff, the research is going to come from your go into all your support paragraphs that will reinforce your argument. And also one quote will go into the counter argument as well, where you are required to do a double quote paragraph. And then the next one is, can you use homes in the support paragraphs? Don't. That takes care of that one. So other popular questions, how many pages? Is supposed to be 6.5 to 7 pages long. When do I post grades? Hopefully I'll be able to post grades on the 7th or 8th, maybe the 9th of May, depending on how busy I am, because I have to turn homework in too. Why are there 2 rough drafts? There are 2 rough drafts to make sure that I can be sure you guys are turning in the best grade possible. When you turn in your first rough draft, I want it to be a rough draft. Basically, you've got your outline, you collapse your outline into paragraph form and turn that in. It's supposed to be rough. Your second rough draft is supposed to be a 20% revision, and then I want that turned in. And then from the second rough draft to your final paper, I want it to be refined even further. That way you guys can be sure you're turning in the best thing possible. So this is the reason why I graded everything and got it all out of the way, so now I can focus on grading 5 or 6 papers every night of your rough draft so I can get feedback to those of you who I think need it. Not everybody needs feedback. A lot of you guys who are getting over 100% in the class, you don't need feedback. You're fine. Stop asking. How do we use the keywords? Keywords should be appearing in every single paragraph. So if the keyword you're using is diverse, which is the most common one people are choosing, that needs to appear in every paragraph. And then you need a secondary keyword that'll appear uniquely in 1 or 2 paragraphs. And then homes also will work as a keyword because homes is the primary text. Do you need to mention your research question in your essay? No, you don't. What else is required in the essay other than what is in the outline? That was an interesting question. Read the prompt. The prompt has all the requirements. Between the prompt and that outline, you should be able to see everything that's required in there. Next, can your papers be about anything other than diversity? Yes, but you have to find your subject matter from the Holmes essay and prove it using the Holmes essay. And do we need to use both types of double quotes? And that's the last question. There's one other question I'm going to answer, and then that's it. Oh, where do I introduce the research authors? Don't. Anyways, for 2 types of double quote paragraphs, there are the types where you're showing that 2 quotes are doing the same thing, and you're showing that 2 quotes are doing opposite things. I want you to use the type of double quote paragraph where the quotes do opposite things. That's in your counter argument. Are you required to use the type of double quote paragraph where you have 2 quotes that are doing the exact same thing? The answer is no, you don't need to do that. So that takes care of it. Now, if you have further questions about what do I mean, there's a video that I did about how a double quote paragraph works. Like I said, there are 2 types. One where 2 quotes do the same thing. You're not required to do that. But you are required to do a double quote paragraph where 2 quotes are doing opposite things. That's in your counter argument. The last question comes from a student who wants to know, what is my recommendation for getting everything done? You know, there's a lot of stress going on. English is a hard class because of the amount of work. And you have, that goes into it. Honestly, tonight, after you finish your full outline, quickly turn around tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, and really fast get that rough draft roughed in. That's it. Get that rough done, and then you'll notice you have 4 or 5 days to get the second rough draft done, and then you have a week from tomorrow to get the final finished. That's it. There's one other homework assignment, and that's just a self-reflection. There's a self-reflection about how the semester went, and I'll give you a video on that. And then there's one where you're basically doing a self-peer review of your own work. And you've done those already. So a self-assessment. You have to do one self-assessment, and that's on, I think that's Wednesday. I'll do a video about those. But that's pretty much it. We're finished. All you guys have to do now is just slowly go through, get the work done, pace yourself, and make sure you schedule time to get your stuff done. That pretty much covers it. There were some other questions people asked. The other videos cover most of them. The prompt covers most of them. The prompt is on the home page, or you can also look up the final paper assignment and the prompt is there. Anyway, if you have any further questions, go ahead and email me, and I'll try to answer your question through email like I have been for a while. And thanks so much. You guys have a great day.